Even though the question, can't we do this with AI, causes many creative people to roll their eyes in annoyance, the developments of recent years have also brought advantages. For me, AI-based image generators are clearly not a substitute for real human craft, but they can be a useful support in the creative process or serve as a source of inspiration. For this project I already have an idea and a rough image in my head, but to make it clearer I'm generating some corresponding images in Firefly. I choose the picture I like best and print it out for reference. I have already prepared the canvas with a beige primer. I transfer the rough outlines from my template onto it. Acrylic pens are great for this task. I use Posca pens because they dry quickly and don't bleed through the layers of acrylic paint that I will apply next. I'm going to do this very roughly, as my goal is not to create a direct copy of the original. The AI image is just a reference to help me find the right proportions, colors and lighting. Next, I start blocking in some colors to create the underpainting. It's not necessary to work very precisely here. This step is mainly about dividing the canvas into different areas that will be refined later. The colors are not highly opaque, so the brush strokes remain visible. This gives the underpainting structure. Together with the following layers of color, this will create a complex background. While the paint on the background dries, I paint the main object. Here too I work roughly at first without paying too much attention to details. By the way, I'm using a filbert brush with synthetic bristles. It's very suitable for curves and organic shapes. It is the brush I use most often and I really enjoy working with it. After the paint has dried, I start working on the next color layers. I use a thick sheep's wool brush to apply soft structures to the canvas. The result is particularly beautiful in the background, as this method creates a soft bokeh effect. It is important not to rub the brush too hard on the canvas in order to achieve smooth color gradients. I haven't talked about the colors I use yet, and I don't want to go into too much detail. I use acrylic paints of different qualities. My main concern is to stick with warm colors that are similar to my reference image. I work with what I have available. Now it's time for the work on the details. I switch to a small filbert brush and start creating finer structures. Several layers will be necessary until a pleasing result is achieved. Not every brush stroke is perfect, and it is part of the normal process to paint over and touch up areas. However, this often results in interesting structures that ultimately have a positive influence on the outcome. At this point, I'm satisfied with the stone structure of the orb, and I can turn my attention to the lava inside of it. Here, I will deviate a little more from the reference image and aim for a different effect. This is the most time-consuming part for me. I don't have a clear picture in my head of how I want to depict the glowing structures, so I'm working my way towards it step by step. The last step is the work on the foreground. Here I would like to darken the image to achieve a good contrast to the stone orb and the background. After a few more layers of color, the painting is finally finished. To make the colors really stand out, I will apply a final layer of glossy acrylic binder to the canvas. I have to admit, I get a little nervous every time I do this. And yes, I use too much acrylic binder. It dries flat and transparent though, so it's not really a problem. After a short drying time, the painting is now finished. It differs quite a lot from the AI-generated reference image, which was my intention. Ultimately, a painting should remain what it is, a painting that can be recognized as such.